let's get into this convo. I want to talk about some stock stuff, but I got a question for Keys first. Keys, first and foremost, thank you for coming to Invest Fest every year. And this year, you're going to do it at the highest level possible with your guests, Billy Carson and Yaki Awaken. So we're going to talk about that later on. But when I first want to talk about is kind of following up what we talked about with Van Jones last week as far as artificial intelligence. And, he told us a few of the apps that he was actually using. And one of the apps that you had actually mentioned to us early, which was, what's the name of the app? Midjourney.
Yep.
So I know you've been on the artificial intelligence wave for a long time. So how are you seeing this in your vantage point right now? How are you currently using it? And like, what are you seeing now that everybody's kind of caught up to the pace?
Yeah, I think it's in that phase now where people stop taking it as serious because they're getting used to it, hearing about it, being in their lives, right? Consuming it a little bit. But I think people forget that, the threat is a complete new infrastructure and a complete new world being built out by these systems, making things more cheaper, more efficient, giving people more access. And, my main message around it, is for us to use it to augment, our human intelligence, right? Make ourselves smarter, more efficient, decrease time, increase output when it comes to tasks, because it's the only way that we can keep up, And so when I'm looking at the tools that's being not built out right now, a lot of these tools that's being built out right now, a lot of hardware that's giving very niche use. There's a hardware that I use called Plod. And Plod essentially is something that I carry around that takes notes for me, right? So I press record, it'll take notes and it'll summarize in whichever way that I want it to be summarized, whether it's lecture notes, whether I wanted to turn it into a summary, or whether I wanted to be bulletin pointed, or I wanted to bring out the key concepts of what was spoken about. It'll basically take whatever meeting, anything that was said in my day, and then it will send me a report on it so that I'm keep utilizing my mind for generating ideas and not capturing it. Right. And that one has made me very efficient at being able to go back and look at ideas that were said or things that were talked about. And so I look at that as, having a personal assistant that's around you at all times, writing anything down for you. And then later on you can use. So I think that, in these simple uses, they're basically taking Claude and they're adding that in there, and they're taking ChatGPT and they're adding it into it, and they're creating these multi-million-dollar companies. And this has always been, some of the smarter uses of, when you look at a gold rush, saying that, all right, who go build the shovels, right? And who go create the jury business, right? The gold is here. Now the industry around it is being built. And we see that in multiple tools as well, not just this one. You have the Humane AI pen, which some people call it a flop, but as a hardware, it meant to solve the problem of over scrolling on your phone, and you have ChatGPT built into it, right? And I've been seeing a lot of these type of hardwares pop up. Some of the other ones that people I'm sure don't know about because they're fairly new is one called Fabric. And Fabric is essentially a masterful way to be able to source the best prompts, right? So basically what you would do is you would install it on your computer, and it's a fairly simple process, but it does take some steps in order to have it on your computer because it is in beta right now. But essentially, the founder wanted to figure out a way that he can source all of the prompts that ChatGPT uses, that Claude uses, right? And he wanted to figure out what makes a really good prompt. So he found these patterns that allow you to get the best results out of these AIs. And he built the tool that basically allows you to install this software on your computer, and it sources right between ChatGPT, between Claude, and it finds the best patterns for you to be able to get the best prompts out. Now, this is very good because there's so much information all over right now, right? We have information overload. Today, the average person has the same amount of information as, access to information as a president in the 90s and early 2000s, right? But with all of this information, how do you source it? How do you decide how to spend your time and make it more efficient? How do you know when to deep dive on something versus being able to just get notes so that you can focus on the things that you do want to get a deeper understanding of? And the rest is starting to become customized to understanding your workflow so you can spend less time on things that's unnecessary, which is the investigating which information, and more time on deeper understanding on the things that allow you to have this learning curve. And so Fabric is something that I'm just now beginning to use, but I think it's a very smart and efficient way that they've been able to come up with utilizing AI, because you're basically taking these existing systems, right? Gathering these patterns of all of these best use cases, and you're saying that, okay, how do I get the most amount of my time back, right? While still getting the best output. And, for me, like scouring through videos, doing research and studying, there's some videos that I'm going to want to like deep dive and take deep notes on. And then other ones, I just need you to transcript it out and give me the most relevant information. But I need it to be built and understood based on my custom needs, right? So I got to put together a report, or I need to know what's going on in the market, or I need to have certain information and stats synthesized towards me, or I don't want to spend time watching a whole YouTube video. So I want the direct points that's correlated to what my needs are. And so I think that once these AI start finding these patterns and start studying you more and you start using them more, you get to become way more effective and efficient in your processes. And that is the smart ways to start using them, is looking at, okay, what do I do now, right? And what is the best way for me to get the best results? And so people ask me all the time, how do I use AI? And I'm like, what do you do now? And think about how you could be 10 times better at it, right? Every one of your processes. And so whether it's utilizing Fabric or something like Gamma, which is a presentation AI that allows you to take your data, instantly spit it into Gamma, and Gamma automatically produces a presentation for you that is at a very high level, that looks like you spent hours on doing it, right? So now you're ready for clients. Now you're ready for meetings. Now you're taking your notes, right? And you making sure that you can have this information ordered in detail for you instantaneous. So, and the last but not least is the big one, is Apple's intelligence, right? So you've been utilizing Apple Intelligence, the beta, and I ain't gonna say it's been game changing or anything of that nature, but what I do see is, now that they got a seat on Open AI and they're going to go deeper into their relationship, you will see a lot of these softwares being natively built in on the Mac OS and on the iPhone. So a lot of these things that are businesses right now in software as service, SaaS, they're going to be automatically installed on your phone. So such as the notes that you have on your phone right now, they may be disorganized and all over the place. There's an AI called Notebook LLM that allows you to store your notes, and then you can search them, you can ask it questions, you can basically talk to your notes. But eventually that's going to be put directly into Apple, because as they further their relationship with, Open AI, they're just going to have everything inside this phone because they have billions and billions of users to be able to do so. So for me, some of the biggest opportunities is creating the SaaS, creating super niche AI, right? Becoming AI agents to where you're learning skill sets and expertise, right? And to become an expert, essentially, there's different degrees and levels of expert, but your goal is to be able to know more, right, than 90% of people, so you have a value to where you can teach them. And so I've been studying a lot of the AI agents, right, and doing consults with people and figuring out, okay, what is it that people really need? And for the most part, people want to figure out how to orient AI in their businesses, but it starts at a foundational level by explaining to them what AI is, doing deep consults with them and understanding their businesses, right? And then having a plan to implement AI. And that's a whole entire business and job. And there's not enough agents out there that can help people integrate AI in their businesses yet. There's people that's watching this right now that need AI integrated in their businesses, and they're doing a lot of manual tasks still that could be automated. And this process of automation is not a simplistic process where you just snap your fingers and it's done. It's deeply learning your business the same way you will put together your brand guides, the same way you will put together your human resource guides, same way you will look at what is your framework for your business, how does it work, and getting AI to understand that, and then building out these automated systems that make all your processes easier. And so there's just about an AI for everything at the moment, and they're only going to get better. So my suggestion with people is having everything written out in their business as far as the task that they need done, right? And then you begin the process of saying, how do I replace this task, or how do I make this task easier by utilizing some of these tools that's out there?